You're a perfectionist, Tungdil Bolafar.
I've got a reputation to uphold. If you can't rely on the metalwork of a dwarf, what can you rely on? What can I do for you?
For me, nothing. It's Lot Yonan. He wants to see you in his study.
In your mind, you go through all the recent incidents that might have annoyed the Magus. Apart from a few little squabbles with his famuli, none...
You look dreadful.
What a charmer.
The maid gives you an eye.
When you were teething, I carried you around the vaults. You played with my beard and I...
Frala smiles. She's heard this story many times before.
That was 23 cycles ago. But I'm quite sure you didn't sing. You might have...
If what you've read about the dwarven lifespan is true, it'll be another 300 sun cycles and more before you are called to the Eternal Forge. The certainty of one day.
I'd better not keep the Magus waiting.
See you later. There's goulash for dinner.
This is where you swung the forge hammer for the first time 30 cycles ago. No one taught you the craft. It was an... This is where you swung the forge hammer for the...
Everything you know about dwarves you learnt from books. The divine smith created the dwarves, and from time to time you make him an offering of some crumbs of gold. It's the most valuable...
There are apparently dwarves who have never seen the sky. And you too feel more comfortable when you have rock over your head. If only you didn't long to see more of the world, a longing...
Hey, groundling! Come to the kitchen, we need you!
Jolison, a 4th degree famulus and your favorite foe among the students of magic, gives you a disparaging glance and...
Master Lot Yonan, Frala told me you wished to speak with me.
Ah, Tungdil, come in. There is a bag over there in the cupboard. Take it out, please. It contains artifacts belonging to my former famulus Goren. I wish to return them to him. He's in Blacksaddle, 300 miles away.
300 miles? That's a long journey. Who are you going to entrust with this?
I was thinking of you.
Me?
There is no one better to take on this journey. You have acquired much knowledge. You are almost a scholar. You know more than most famuli about Girdlegard and its inhabitants. It is time for you to go out into the world and see it with your own eyes.
With pleasure. What's in the bag?
Magical devices. You better leave the bag closed if you want to avoid any accidents.
Perhaps I'll meet some dwarves on my travels.
Yes, perhaps. But don't hold out too much hope. And be careful who you talk to. Not everyone out there likes dwarves.
Yeah, goblins. They abduct baby dwarves and sell them to magi, from what I've heard.
Not the best bit of business I've ever done. But what was I to do? The Longnoses threatened to throw you into the nearest river. Be on your guard. Look after the bag and don't lose it. May Palandiel be with you. And Varakas too, of course.
I'll set off immediately. I'll see you soon, Lot Yonan.
Dale! Quick! Or the goulash will get burnt!
You immediately recognize what the problem is. A chain running over a pulley for positioning the cauldron. It's a heavy load and none of the famula.
It'd be a waste of goulash. And I'm hungry. Here, hold this.
With as much concern in your voice as you can muster, you say,
Oh, no, this doesn't look good.
You're pleased to notice he's dripping with sweat.
I'll get you back for this, groundling! You damned freak!
For a moment, you hope the famulus really does raise his hand to you. But then he comes to his senses and leaves the kitchen, his face bright.
What a pair you are!
Vegetables, bread, cheese, but the cook is not to be trifled with. Many painful knuckles have taught you that she knows how to handle her heavy wood.
Hello, Frala. I need provisions for 300 miles.
You're grinning from...
300? Tungdale, that's no errand. That's an epic journey.
I'm going to Blacksaddle to return a few things to a former apprentice in the Magus.
You pocket the rye bread, sausages, and ham. Enough food for the first...
I've got a present for you.
You take out a symbol of protection that you've carefully made from 3 horseshoe nails.
It's not the finest jewellery in Girdlegard.
One look at Frala's face makes it clear that it doesn't matter.
Because you don't see me as an oddity, and you're like a little sister to me.
You could have said. But you settle with a shrug and a crooked smile.
Perhaps I'll even meet some...
Frala throws you a cautious glance. It's a tricky subject that you can't help but broach.
There aren't dwarves down here. You're the only one.
I know, but I can't just have been born out of a rock.
Yes. Maybe.
Frala has reminded you more than once that Lot Yonan wrote to the dwarf clans and none of...
I have to go. I've got a long...
I wish you the blessing of Palandiel and Vrakas to protect you from all danger on your journey. Here, a talisman. Whenever you look at it, think of me.
The beer that is delivered to the vaults is supposed to be the best beer in Idderslane. It's certainly your favourite beer, but you haven't drunk enough other beers to truly know.
The blacksmith? Do you want...
Did a horse bolt while you were trying to shoe it? It's certainly not on our plates.
Hey, what are you doing, groundling? We're still eating here. Why don't you go and get...
Of the 200 or so people selected to learn the art of magic under Lot Yonan, there's barely a handful of them you can stand the sight of. You're not at all interested in magic in...
Lot Yonan didn't just take you in. He also taught you how to read and write. But you don't feel like reading right now. Especially... You picture all the fantastic adventures that await you on your journey and are raring to go. But you picture all the fantastic adventures that await you on your journey and are raring to go. But then you...
I wonder if dwarves ask Vrakas for help on long journeys.
The figure on the homemade old...
If I hurry, I might be back in time for Sonia's birthday.
You're longing to see her face when you give her your homemade present. There was a time when you could hardly lift the heavy hammer. Now you barely notice it anymore.
Lot Yonan's vaults are equipped with laboratories, a library, and private rooms for the famuli. Together with the forge, the kitchen, and the other... Within a few moments you find Blacksaddle on the map. It is southeast of Parista, a little more than halfway between the city of the Magus Nudin and Lot Yonan's vaults.
You picture all the fantastic adventures that await you on your journey and are raring to go. But then you think about the possible dangers and... It would be better to leave Lot Yonan to his work for now. You've already been given an assignment and you should leave as soon as possible.
How nice to see you again, Lot Yonan. It must have been an age since we last met face to face.
Nudin, welcome. Please, sit down.
No, thank you, my friend. These are urgent matters, and I don't have much time. You must come to Leos Nudin immediately. The perished land is stirring.
Are you sure? What makes you think that?
I found out about 60 orbits ago, during a visit to the borders. Our magical barriers have weakened and become porous. The Elfar have left their land, and a huge horde of orcs have marched into Girdlegard.
Were you able to strengthen the spell with your magic?
No. I can't repair the damage alone. We need the combined power of the 6. The other 4 are already on their way here, but we need your help too.
I will set off for Parista without delay.
Oh, and as you're coming, could you also take the opportunity to bring back the things that I lent to you?
Of course. I have them already packed in a bag.
Oh, thank you. We'll be expecting you.
Utterly blinded by the sunlight, you squeeze your eyes tightly shut after only a few steps. The time spent underground has made you so sensitive to light that you're forced to seek shelter. You reach a small lake by a birchwood. Your feet hurt and your eyes still sting in the unaccustomed sunlight. But a smile, you pitch your camp and lie down to sleep on the hard forest floor. When you awake in the morning, your legs are stiff and achy, trying not to feel. Around midday, with the sun high in the sky and the first beads of sweat appearing on your forehead, you see something. You survey the grass, the bushes and the few trees that are growing on both sides of the track. The wind blows through the grass and the leaves tremble. The pecking, the creaking leather armor, the clattering rucksack, and a dwarf's inability to be quiet makes the crows You don't see any signs of a struggle in the area where the corpses are lying. Were they stabbed by a companion? A stranger could hardly have crept up on them with such sparse cover. A slender man lies in front of you, dressed in an expensive robe. It is in the colours of Turger the Fair-Faced, one of the 6 magi. You look down on a tall, broadly built man. He's wearing dark brown leather armour that is strengthened with iron plates.
By Vracus.
There are some narrow stab wounds in the man's chest. The cuts are too big to have been made by arrows, but too... The man has the same incisions. It's clear that both men were killed by the same weapon. But what that weapon might be...
Nothing again.
You halt. There is some...
A rucksack? Did someone hide it in the bushes, or was it thrown in?
You open the rucksack and recognize that someone has already rummaged through it. As well as some implements and writing utensils, you... Warmth and a feeling of security flush through your body as you touch the talisman. You feel safer. A rucksack that probably belonged to one of the... You find a few implements, some provisions, and a map. A route... You scour the area once more and ask yourself what to do. You scour... You scour the area once more and ask yourself what to do next. It's time-consuming and strenuous work digging shallow graves in the ground with a stick and covering the corpses with a few stones. But it should at least keep the crows from their feasting for a while. You continue on your way so as to put a few more miles between you and your grisly find before night falls. As the gable end of a small farmhouse and a barn appear from behind a hilltop, you hear the loud cries of children at play. A girl runs along the path laughing, followed by a small boy with a big stick in his hand. The boy is trying to catch up his sister with a determined look on his face, but is finding it difficult to keep his short legs under control on the uneven path. You walk towards the children. As you raise your hand to greet them, the boy catches sight of you. His eyes grow wide, and he points to you with a chubby little... Now the girl has turned to face you too. Before you can say a word... Without rushing, you follow the children to the farmhouse, into which their father is a thick-set man with grey hair. The blonde woman nods a greeting almost imperceptibly and clasps her daughter tightly to her.
It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Tungdal.
You try to make your voice sound as harmless as possible.
Over the last few days, have you seen two travelers heading east?
Opatia looks at his wife, but she shakes her head.
I found them. Two dead bodies on the side of the road. A good day.
Dead bodies?
She hastily covers.
Remsa, what would orcs be doing up here? It was...
I'm sorry if I scared your wife and children.
The man waves dismissively.
No.
The orcs have been spotted near Calmstead. You should take it more seriously.
The farmer's wife clutches her daughter even tighter before the girl finally protests. The boy steps forward excitedly and cuts the air with his stick. Opatia pats his son on the head, laughing.
We're safe.
Wouldn't it be better to move to one of the bigger villages if they're all...
The farm is our livelihood. We can't just leave the place. The fields don't look after themselves. King Tilagorn's cavalry will take care of the orcs.
But the cavalry can't be everywhere at once. Even a handful of...
Once the seeds are planted, I'll build the hideaway, just as you wish. But what...
If there are orcs in the area, then you shouldn't waste any time.
The dwarf is right.
Remsa gives you a thankful smile before turning to her husband.
We'll take care of the other...
Opatia stays silent for a moment, a gloomy expression on his face, before shrugging his You bid farewell and set off on your way. The children follow you for a while. You look down on a large village on the banks of the Warder. Some of the village is built on stilts in the river, a wooden bridge. Your eyes roam the land on the other side of the river. You estimate that you will soon have completed half of the journey to Black. The guards on the palisade are watching you. Their armor looks well cared for and well made. The smith who made them knew what he was.
There are small fires burning every 50 steps or so. They are intended to light up the area in front of the palace.
Orc skulls?
You're not sure it's wise to taunt the beasts with a
The double gate is made of strong planks, sturdy but still much less solid than the fixed parts of the palisade. Security... The double gate is...
Some of the guards begin to whisper as you near the gate.
Hello up there!
What brings you to fair good water? And have you seen any orcs on your travels, groundling?
The man leaning over the palisade eyes you up and down carefully.
Goodwater is well known for its hospitality.
A fact that you've just made up yourself.
Let me...
I regret to inform you that we cannot allow you to enter.
I'm a blacksmith. And a dwarf.
The murmuring all around him makes the man pause for a moment. If anyone else had criticized the stronghold, they'd have been laughed down and shooed away. But no one understands defense systems like the dwarves.
A dwarf black...
I'm a skilled craftsman, and I'm sure I can improve this gate for you. I'm a dwarf, and I know of the dwarven art of building from books.
A bookworm? You're going to strengthen our...
I'm sure papier-mâché would help, but that's not what I...
You stop mid-sentence. The mocking expression on the The orc heads on the spears look fresh, a fact that causes you unease for more than one reason.
I hope not. The more orc heads that end up on those spears... Yeah, that's right! We've killed our fair share of orcs and know how to motivate them.
Two things become clear to you. Firstly, that the mercenaries...
Yesterday, we caught a couple of their scouts first. The others...
Do you want me to be mauled by the orcs? Let me in!
You're pleased to notice that your voice sounds more accusatory than worried. The free peoples of Girdlegard have all... The mercenary seems to weigh up his options, but then shakes his head.
Put a few miles between yourself and...
I've got 20 pieces of gold here, look...
Ah! One of your folk might leave his post for...
But